viewers, welcome to your favorite English news magazine on your mother channel, TVT. Ladies and gentlemen, evening and welcome. Let's open the show with news from the headquarters. The family of ambassadors accredited to Togo has once again expanded. 14 new ambassadors presented their credentials to the head of state for Eswatini Nyasingbe. This ambassador exchanged on how to strengthen the existing cooperation between their countries and Togo.
Excellency Dwaralika of the Republic of Serbia, Thomas Schlesinger of Austria, Thomas Felix of Slovakia, Mrs. Robina Patricia Marx of the Republic of South Africa, and Kufa Edward Tinoza of Zimbabwe were the first 5 present their accreditation to the head of state for Eswatini Nyasingbe. The Serbian diplomat was the attaché for Arab countries and Israel at the Serbian Ministry of Foreign Affairs. He was first secretary of the Sub-Saharan African section and held numerous other posts. His last post before his appointment to Togo was that of Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thomas Schlesinger is an Australian national. He graduated from the French National School of Administration and holds a Master of Science in Foreign Service from Georgetown University. Prior to his appointment to Togo, he held a number of positions. Felix Thomas from Slovakia is aged 55. The Slovak diplomat has already proved his worth as first secretary and deputy head of mission, then in charge of affairs at the state of Kuwait. He graduated with a doctorate from Mateb University in Slovakia and joined the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in 1992. His rich career has taken him to many countries, including China and Nigeria, where he was his country's ambassador. Mrs. Robina Patricia Marx, ambassador of South Africa, was born in 1963. She majored in gender and development and had her postgraduate diploma. This diplomat has made a name for herself through the various missions she has been appointed to. Kufa Edward Tinoza from Zimbabwe holds an undergraduate degree in business administration and a diploma in international relations. He has held a number of posts, including counselor at ministries, steady officer and head of protocol, consul general, and then ambassador of Zimbabwe to South Sudan. By presenting their letters of credential to the head of state for Eswatini Nyasingbe, they all intend to work towards strengthening the ties of cooperation between their countries and Togo. The second batch of 5 ambassadors to present their letters of accreditations to the head of state were Mrs. Selma Ashipala Musai from Namibia, Joao Baptiste Domingos Kwasa from the Republic of Angola, José Javier Guterres Navarrete from the Kingdom of Spain, Joaren Berul from the Kingdom of the Netherlands, and Ms. Bernice Abigail Owens-Jones from Australia. All of them distinguished themselves through their dedication to and love of a job well done. Now accredited to Togo, their priority is to defend the interests of their countries. The fruit of active diplomacy, these ambassadors intend to continue and strengthen the ties maintained by their heads of states. Each ambassador presented their country's vision of development and bilateral cooperation to the head of state for Eswatini Nyasingbe, Mrs. Ronnie Yedidia-Klein of the State of Israel, Mrs. Simone Ginger of Switzerland Confederation, Mrs. Sandrine Plateau of the Kingdom of Belgium, and Sultan Abdulrahman Al-Dakel of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia have joined the large family of ambassadors accredited to Togo. Trade, agriculture, diplomacy, and culture were some of the areas of cooperation to be strengthened for the benefit of their populations. They shared Togo's vision of a peaceful world where solidarity and togetherness are shared values. Togo's diplomatic record is a sign of excellence of its relations with countries around the world.
For Eswatini Nyasingbe, guest of honor at the Investment Summit in Abu Dhabi, presented the case of Togo. He later granted audiences to some key personalities. The reports.
The President of the Republic for Eswatini Singbe took part in the 8th World Investment Forum held in Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates. As the guest of honor at this summit, the Togolese head of state for Eswatini Singbe shared with his peers and the international business community his vision of a strategic state that will meet the challenges of sustainable development and the consolidation of people's resilience. On the sideline of the 8th World Investment Forum, President Paul Eswatini Singbe received an audience two key personalities. The head of state had a first audience with Dushan Tiako, Executive Director of WIPA, World Association of Investment Promotion Agencies. They reviewed Togo's potential and the way and means in which their organization could work with Togo and its highest authorities. Mr. Dushan Tiako reassured the Togolese president that Togo was full of assets that would encourage them to invest. He also expressed his willingness to support the country in improving and streamlining its financial system. On behalf of Togolese citizens, expressed the hope that Togo will become a preferred destination for investors. Ziad Hayek, chairman of WAP, World Association of PPP Units and Professionals, also called on the presidents. Their discussions focused on future infrastructure projects in Togo. They also discussed on how the private sector and the global investor can contribute to its implementation. He took the opportunity to introduce the institution of which he is the chief executive. He also outlined the various areas in which they will be able to help the country implement the projects in future.
The Togolese Council of Ministers met yesterday at the Presidential Palace in Lomé. It was presided over by the head of state for Eswatini Singbe, Anglais.
Compte rendu du Conseil des ministres du 20 octobre 2023.
The Council of Ministers examined 4 draft decrees and listened to 1 communication. Concerning the draft decrees, it reviewed and adopted a first decree regulating the operation of motor vehicles such as taxis, motorcycles, and tricycles used for public transport. It aims at improving the overall transportation system in our country to ensure safer and better organized mobility for road users. Implementation of this decree will lead to better organization of public transportation, professionalism of actors of the sector, improved identification of taxis and their operational areas, enhanced road safety, and greater passenger comfort. The Council of Ministers reviewed and adopted a second decree establishing the framework for transport consultation. The adoption of this decree will enable our country to have a formal framework for coordinated management of issues related to land transport, promoting the development of quality competition, sustainable and reliable transport services that create wealth and jobs. The Council reviewed and adopted a third decree setting the rules of the creation of professional leagues within national sports federations. Ministers and the head of state reviewed and adopted a fourth decree establishing the creation of a support fund for the social sector aimed at strengthening social inclusion and harmony as well as peace consolidation. This decree will centralize all these resources for better tracking of their use. Under the communications section, the Council listened to a communication regarding the actions of national solidarity agencies. These agencies are social institutions established to implement national policy and solidarity mechanisms. In the miscellaneous session, the Minister of Trade, Handicrafts and Local Consumption reported to the Council on the preparations for the International Crafts Market of Togo, Mianto, whose official launching is scheduled for October 27 2023. Mali will be the guest of honor for this edition. The minister also reported to the council on the launching of the National Soybean Marketing Campaign that took place on October 18, 2023.
Fait à Lomé le 20 octobre 2023, le Conseil des ministres.
Peace and security in Africa brought experts, specialists, and affected nations together. The opening ceremony presided over by the Togolese Prime Minister Victoria Tomega-Dugbe was around the thematic of youth involvement in policy and decision-making and educating them to be key elements of development of their communities. Terrorism, according to speakers, a one-man affair. It is related to the poor basic infrastructures in our rural areas. Chief of Defense Staff from the Gulf of Guinea met in Lomé this week. The objective of this high-level encounter was to exchange point of view and share best practices.
The Gulf of Guinea is in danger. It must be protected against illegal activities that threaten blue economy. At the 7th Symposium of the Gulf of Guinea Naval Chief of Defense Staffs meeting, they decided to unite their efforts and take actions to find lasting solutions to the maritime security challenges. Legal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, marine pollution, piracy are problems that require not only the involvement of states, but also of partners in order to make of this fight a common cause.
Maritime security is one of the top priorities of the European Union, and especially in the Gulf of Guinea. The European Union has established a Gulf of Guinea strategy in 2014 and an action plan to fight not only piracy but all kinds of maritime crime in the Gulf of Guinea. The European Union supports this exercise. The European Union will participate also with ships of the member states of the European Union. But I would like also to add that we have created in the European Union a concept of coordinated maritime presences, and this guarantees the continuing presence of the European member states' naval assets in the Gulf of Guinea to cooperate with the Gulf of Guinea states and to ensure a continuous maritime presence in the area.
According to the President's Maritime Activities Advisor, Stanislas Baba, representing the Minister of Defense, this initiative reinforces the decisions of the African Union's Extraordinary Summit on Maritime Security, Safety and Development in Africa. A roadmap that includes the operational capabilities of various partners will be drawn to enable each state to effectively struggle against maritime crime.
The Fair of African Microfinance Week opened earlier this week in Lomé. This event served as a major platform for African microfinance institutions and key impact investors in inclusive finance to exchange and see how they can best put their energy together.
How to improve access to financial services for those who are excluded from the traditional financial system. Main aim of the investor fair made up of 26 stands. While some investors were exhibiting their products, others were longing to broaden the scope of their business organizations.
Yeah, we are here to meet partners from all over Africa. We're meeting our existing partners, but also some potential pipeline to partner with in the future. So the meetings are not very long, it's just half an hour, so just getting an idea of what they're doing, how they are managing to get a big impact, and then getting a few numbers just to get an idea if they're a good fit for us or no. or not, and then after that we can always reach out to them and have more interactions with them to see if they are good. We are a good fit for them, they are a good fit for us, and we can partner in the future with them.
We're a microfinance fund from the United States. We're talking to microfinance institutions across Africa about the possibility of establishing a lending relationship. We supply loans to microfinance institutions, and they use our money to lend to their borrowers who have inadequate access to credit.
The Investor Fair, a unique B2B opportunity, opened to stakeholders and experts during this 6th edition of the African Microfinance Week.
Alessun Poti, our correspondent at the Investor Fair, recorded point of view of some exhibitors. Let's hear them.
Please, can you introduce yourself?
So myself, I'm Roxane Lemercier. I'm from Belgium, but based in Italy, and I'm regional manager for Francophone African countries for MFR.
Yeah, you're welcome to the Investors Fair.
Thank you.
Well, which products have you got to propose to your participants?
Okay, so we are from MFR, Microfinancia Rating. It's an Italian company, and we are an international rating and evaluation organization. And we are specialized in the inclusive finance field. So we propose to the MFIs and financial organization to evaluate their practice. And we propose different products depending on their needs. If they need to have an evaluation to find new investors, or if they want an internal diagnosis of their practice to internally improve how they are managing the institutions.
You're welcome to the Investors Fair.
Thank you.
Can you please introduce yourself?
Okay, my name is Patrick Kongo Mambu. I'm the CEO at FPM SA, which is a financial company based in DRC.
Okay, so you are in which business?
Yes, I'm in pitch business. So we are here to see how we can raise funds in order to support financial institutions in DRC. So we offer as a product senior debt, subordinated debt, and also guarantee product. So we are a local fund, but as you know, in DRC, it's a big country, and we need to have many partners in order to see how we can support the financial inclusion for the following years.
Are people coming to your stall? What are the usual questions they ask?
Yeah, first of all, they are asking questions regarding the cost of financing, so the interest rate. Currently, in the world, we know that the price of funds is going up. So in DRC, our products are in line with the type of fund that we are managing. So we are not proposing a fluctuate rate. We have a fixed rate. So this is the question, the most question that partners, potential partners are asking.
Okay, so which advice do you have, if you should give an advice in the field of inclusive financing?
Yeah.
What are some of the advice you can give?
First of all, I will recommend or advise to financial institutions not only to see the cost of the loans or the credit that they are looking for. It's important for them to put in place a partnership. Currently, the world is under crisis. We don't know what will happen tomorrow. But if you have in your balance sheet some partners who support you, it will be easy in case of problem to sit together in order to sort it. It's also important for partners to see how we can implement all the recommendations that we received during this week here in the event.
The African Working Group on Disaster Risk Management held its 20th session in Lomé since Tuesday. Experts discussed strategies for accelerating the action plan for implementing the Sundays framework in Africa for the period 2025-2030.
Floods, droughts, epidemics. Natural disasters are becoming more and more frequent in Africa, making the continent the second most affected. The African Work Group for the Elimination of Disasters, formed by the African Union in 2011, plans to intensify the prevention and reduction of these disastrous situations. The issue was tackled at the 20th session held in Lomé.
This is a very important forum in the sense that it is going to look at what we have achieved so far and identify some of the gaps and challenges in the implementation of the African Program of Action for the implementation of the Sendai framework. And it will also help us to also know the needs of regional economic communities as well as member states, so that we can now mobilize resources to support them as well as to fill those gaps. There are major challenges, of course, on the continent. Some of them are related to issues of food security. We have got people on the continent who are actually literally not having enough food due to drought, maybe floods, all these, and of course we are losing lives due to landslides, as you are aware, cyclones and so forth. So basically there are a lot of challenges, but as the African Union, we develop policies that are supposed to be adopted by member states. We support member states to develop capacity to be able to tackle some of those challenges. But in addition to that, we also monitor, collect information from member states so that we know where are the problems that need to be addressed at continental level. And then, of course, also issues of mobilizing money so that those member states can be supported to address such problems.
From commitment to action, experts will pave the way to accelerate the implementation of the Sunday framework for action, which recommends initiatives to strengthen Africa's resilience to climate change and natural disasters. The United States is also involved in this struggle. The Sendai framework will highlight the implementation of the early alert mechanism.
Lomé is hosting the 20th session of the Africa Working Group, and we're looking to support Lomé in developing early warning capacities to ensure that populations are warned should there be flooding or should there be any climate risk of any kind. I think it's important to understand that 90% of the disasters that are happening around the world are climate related. So that means it's about floods and droughts. So it's very critical for us to have in place the capacities in Lomé as well as other African countries to be able to respond to disasters and also warn communities before a disaster occurs. Another thing that's quite important is to ensure that we invest properly, we build properly, that our structures are able to withstand and be resilient to any disaster that might occur.
Experts will share their country's experiences. Togo set the ball rolling with the speech of the Minister for Security and Civil Protection. The 20th session of the African Disaster Reduction Working Group will also prepare for COP28.
The youth of the ECOWAS committed to combating cyber threats. 44 young cyber security experts from 11 countries, including Togo, are participating in the 2023 ECOWAS Hackathon. The initiative aimed at building a reliable pool of human resources against cyber attack.
11 roundtables, all occupied by the young talents specialized in cybersecurity. These computer geniuses are competing to tackle a regional challenge, building a strong foundation to combat cybercrime in the sub-region. The Hackathon 2023, initiated 5 years ago by ECOWAS, pits 11 countries, including Togo, against each other. Each of them will need to display intelligence and focus to identify vulnerabilities in the hacking test exercises they will have to face. Only 3 of them will receive a reward.
It's special because it's taking place in Togo. Togo is a strong partner of the ECOWAS Commission. The competition is to try and attract more talent within the cybersecurity sector, especially women and a lot of youths, because we know there's a lot of unemployment within the region. So if we can build enough talent within the region, we can get a little bit more people within the cybersecurity sector. So we conducted a national competition, and the countries represented at the regional competition, we have Benin, Cote d'Ivoire, Cabo Verde, Ghana, Gambia, Togo, Mauritania, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Ghana, Nigeria. So there are 11 countries in total. So the objective of the hackathon is to try and get more youths involved in technology. So across West Africa, we don't have a lot of youths that are interested in technology. So we're using this avenue to get people to get involved in technology, especially cybersecurity. So cybersecurity has offensive and defensive. So this competition is called Capture the Flag. What we're going to do is put challenges out for all the participants. They will try and hack in a very controlled and ethical manner, break systems, move on to the next challenge, and the winner would be the person that finishes the challenges earliest and breaks all the challenges. In doing the hackathon, we will get more people interested in cybersecurity, and that will attract more talent, more business into West Africa, because they know West Africa is secure.
Togo shows unwavering determination when it comes to protecting its digital data through the National Cybersecurity Agency, NC, one of the solutions put in place to achieve this goal. This agency, a partner in the competition, highlights the crucial importance of this initiative. For ECOWAS, these young talents represent a vital resource in strengthening the resilience of member states against cyber threats.
Viewers, we are at the end of our program on your mother channel. Keep on watching TVT, our TV channel. I will leave the place to the native languages. Goodbye.